Hey, get in here.
Hey, you!
No, get in our room.
Yeah, you, come here.
Come in.
Come on, get in our room.
Welcome to another episode of Get in Our Room. She's Kristin.
And that's Bobbi.
How are you doing today?
Good, man. Feels like a short week.
Yeah, that's because it's Thursday. We're normally doing this on Sunday, but Kristin has to go take vacation to see her family. So we're recording on a Thursday night, which is a bit much for both of us.
Doing the show notes of like, what did I read this week? And I was like, why does it feel like I didn't read anything?
Yeah, that's how I felt too. And also, you may hear my dog in the background because she's joining today in the office where I'm recording this because she's attached.
Taking a little cameo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Bella's debut over here in her cute little bed. All right. So, pretty excited for this week's episode because this is I'd rather be reading, and I had to watch The Punisher for this one.
Which is probably one of my all-time favorite shows. When it first came out, in 2017?
Mm-hmm.
I was completely obsessed. Everybody around me was so sick of hearing about it. So yeah. I'm really excited to talk about it.
And I find it so funny, actually, because I was thinking, I was like, wow, 2017, you think that's a couple years ago, and it's actually a few years ago. I was like 1 year out of college, and I've been out of college for a minute now. So I felt kind of old when I looked that up, and I was like, really? I didn't know that. Okay. So, Kristin,
John Bernthal.
I have a question. Did you start laundry?
No.
Oh. Interesting. Do you have a fan on?
No.
Interesting. It sounds like there's a fan. I'm so confused about that.
Let me go check.
This is just normal audio problems for us. Don't worry.
Okay, so yeah, I don't even hear the AC anymore. Yeah, the AC was on.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe I heard that so much.
I mean, it's a small apartment.
Yeah. Surprised, but I'm not going to make you do that every time because you live in Houston and there's no way I'm going to be like, you need to turn off your AC. So I'm not doing that.
Not unless you want to watch me pass out in real time.
I don't. They definitely don't. So let's go ahead and start the episode how we normally do with what we read this week.
Yeah, man. What'd you get down on this week?
So I haven't actually finished a book yet this week, and as we said, we're filming like 3 days earlier than we normally do, and I was like, man, I have no book updates really. But I am listening to a book. I'm currently in the middle of it on audiobook, and shocker, I'm actually using the Libby app for this one. I was forced.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was forced to use the Libby app because Hoopla, like my library was out of borrows and I like needed to listen to an audiobook while I was doing stuff. I didn't need to, but I had strong desires to. So I just looked up something like a romantic comedy on Libby, and I was looking for one that was immediately available, and I found this book. It's called Catch and Cradle by Katia Rose. And I'm like 50% of the way through it. And it is it's about a female lacrosse team at a college in Nova Scotia. and it's about two of the teammates on this female rugby team. And it's just okay so far. Like, it's nothing to fawn over. But then
My TikTok has started feeding me rugby videos, and I'm obsessed. I don't know anything about the sport, but I'm here for it.
yeah, no, you want to talk about some thighs?
Oh,
Rugby players
yeah.
have thighs. They got legs. They're strong legs.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, and that is the only reason why I like them. Let me watch that scrum.
They have thick thighs and crazy eyes, and I guess that's just my thing.
That's actually hilarious. Okay, so I talked about this book when I first bought it a couple weeks ago, but it's A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. And
Ooh, oh yeah, I just like the title.
yeah, I did too. And then I like the cover, and I know this is like not the right direction for most of you, but like I like the cover a lot too. It's like very like green witchy, which is all of my vibes. And so I bought it, and I'm like almost 150 pages in now. And this book is like if Shadow of the Fox meets Halloween Town meets Twilight fan fiction meets an Adam Sandler rom-com, that perfectly explains what this book is if you follow all of that. Um,
Oh my god.
it's absolutely amazing, and it reminded me of Shadow of the Fox because there's a demon in this book, right? And in Shadow of the Fox, this guy who plays a main role in the book, and so this isn't so in A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating, the demon has a human soul in him, and that is not a spoiler because you learn it in like the first 30 pages. But it's funny because in Shadow of the Fox there's a human with a demon soul in him, and he like flips back and forth between like the demon's in control and he's in control kind of thing. And Shadow of the Fox is Japanese folklore based. So there's something called the yokai, which is the spirits of Japanese folklore. And one of them is an uni. And an uni is just like how did they explain it? It's a um, like demon or like ogre troll type thing. And I thought it was really funny because it made me think of uni, and the uni was the inspiration for the Punisher's skull when the comics
Oh
first
yeah,
were created.
when it was first created or the new one?
I thought it was because the first one was like Skull and Crossbones, and then that got too close to like white supremacy, so they changed it to the one it is now with like the long jaw.
Oh
And
yeah, that was
that
the
is
one they revamped in 2022. Because again, the skull got linked to alt-right
yeah.
stuff.
Yep. So I just thought it was crazy because I was like, oh, uni. And then I learned that about the Punisher when I was doing some like, because I also did back research on the Punisher and I figured that out. And I was like, no freaking way. Like, I just was thinking about the uni and because of these books that I've read and like, how funny is it that, it's the Punisher, excuse me, Punisher skull. It was fascinating. I was like, this is interesting. This is meant to be.
I've never done a deep dive on any of the other characters of any other comic book characters, but the Punisher is just so fascinating, and I don't know if that's unique to him or if they're all that interesting.
Yeah, I really liked was it Jessica Jones? I don't know. She had a series on Netflix too. And I liked
Yes.
her stuff, and she was like a Marvel human vigilante type thing. And I watched that in college. So did you read anything this week?
Not really. I um finished the Den of Vipers. Den of Vipers. Um you were right. The ending of that kind of just goes on and on. Like after things could have just stopped, it just keeps going.
Are you drinking tea?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. What kind of tea are you drinking?
Passion, Tazo Passion.
Oh, you fancy. I'm just drinking like
Yeah,
decaffeinated
the only
black
tea I
tea.
like.
Oh, okay. I love all teas except for shitty tasting ones. All right. So, Den of
Where were
Vipers.
we?
Yeah, Den of
Den of
Vipers.
Vipers.
You thought the ending was drug out in trash too?
Yeah, it just seemed like the whole plot, which I can't even remember now because the ending was so long. Like the initial plot of her story, they they get her back. Um and then it just keeps going with like new mini storylines.
Yeah, and you're like, where is this going? You're like wondering if you missed something earlier in the book, and you're like, the fuck? Yeah. So that's Den of
Yeah,
Vipers.
instead of like a good story would like wrap up loose ends, this one just started creating new loose ends within the last hour. I don't know how many pages it was,
It
but
was too
the
many.
last hour of the book, they're like, how about a brand new storyline?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I tried to start a couple of other books and I just couldn't get into them. And I just couldn't like focus long enough to read.
Yeah.
And so just today I started The Ink Master's Silence from the Glass and Steel series by
Nice.
CJ Archer.
Yeah. That one's
So
an interesting one. The character you
yeah.
meet in that one is gonna be relevant. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, not a whole lot on the what did I read list, but you got any news for us? Any book news?
Oh, yeah. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified every time we upload. It really helps us out. So, last week's episode, we read bad reviews of Lauren Leisure's first book, The Sin of Saints. Today, Thursday, May 4th, may the 4th be with you, she
And
unveiled,
also with you.
thank you, um,
That good old Catholic upbringing.
and and she unveiled the cover of The Bones of Benevolence, the second book of the series, and she also has a release date. So the release date is going to be July 11th, and you can actually pre-order the ebook on May 19th. So
Oh wow.
super excited, and we were also able to unveil that cover with her over on our IG, so we had that posted. So be sure to check out Lauren M. Leasure is her IG account. Follow, and on our page, on our post, there is actually a reminder that you can click and set. So when the pre-order opens up on May 19th for the ebook, you can actually have a reminder pop up on your phone and let you know to go pre-order that, because I'm looking forward to it very much. Um,
You did a great job on that post because you were a part of her little reveal, weren't you?
yeah. So we were getting our room, right? I do a lot
Well, yeah,
of
but Bobby did all the work on this one, and it
yeah,
looks amazing.
yeah. Yeah, so I was able to work with her and her team and a group of a few other individuals who are just bookish lovers of her Bones Malevolent series. So yeah, really lucky to be a part of that. And, a lot of the graphics and everything were made with we had like some topics that we had to cover in the post, but ultimately, yeah, it was a great post. Very aesthetically pleasing, the cover of the book is. And if you read the first one, you will get some of the hints on the cover of this one. And then some of them you're like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen because I have no idea what that's attached to. So pretty exciting. Um, and she even put out one of the quotes from the book that's really interesting. So if you know who Lauren M. Leasure is and you've Kristen.
Sorry.
She's got stuff going on.
I am just the least professional.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for her. And as I mentioned in last week's episode, if you didn't listen to it, go listen to it. I draw a lot of parallels to how she's setting up the series to actually SJM. And, The Sin of Saints was her first book. And I'm so excited because I think she's pretty talented. And I'm really excited to see how this next book goes. So I definitely have my pre-order reminder on and keeping my finger on that pulse because I can't wait to hear from Petra, and I'm really curious about who the love interest is going to be, who's going to win out in the end, and then she's already got a title for the third book, and I'm like, gosh, dang it, like I'm pumped. I'm so pumped for this series. So, yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk, I was so excited. I'm so excited. I could talk about it for way too long and just repeat the same sentence over and over again about how excited I am. So we won't do that. I'll save it for next week and remind you again. But so on April 28th, so last week, Where Are You, God? It's Me, Margret, the movie came out. And so that is actually based on Judy Blume's 1970s novel under the same title, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margret. And it's been out for 1 week, and this movie adaptation has been getting glowing reviews so far from everything I've read. I don't remember reading this book, but my friend Paige and her other best friend, they read the book and they were going to see the movie. So I haven't heard back on that yet from somebody, but I think it's pretty interesting because that's really hard to do, to get glowing reviews on a movie adaptation of a book. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to maybe read that and then see that movie later. The cast is really good too. So don't ask me who's in it. I knew that was coming. Because I am shit at the names of people, but I notice all of their faces.
I have like a problem because I'm always like, I really only pick movies based on the cast. I don't think I've ever watched a movie based on the plot.
Yeah, my really good friend Emily, she wants to be a screenwriter, and I think she'd be beautiful at it. She's a beautiful person in general. But
Kathy Bates is in it.
Yeah, that lady. And she loves movies and stuff. Obviously, she wants to be a screenwriter. But she like knows everybody and she knows all the movies, and she used to talk to me all about it. I'd be like, "Can you show me a picture? Who is that again? What?" She was so sweet and patient with me though.
Does she make you sit through the credits?
No, I don't. I've never watched a movie with her or anything.
Oh.
No,
I had a friend like that. This person, actually, they are out in California making movies and doing stuff. But
good for them.
When we were younger, we'd go to the movies and they would literally make us sit and watch the entire credit roll because, like, down to like the lighting person, they knew.
That's impressive and very. I don't know. I think that's really cool. When you love something that much, you care enough to sit through and pay attention to all that detail. I think that's lovely.
Very, very committed.
But I'm a hopeless romantic and passionate about stupid little things, so I get it.
But yeah, I don't know anybody in that cast besides Kathy Bates.
Maybe she's the only one I noticed. And I was like, she's good. Okay, probably good.
Probably. She's in a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's good. She's in a lot of stuff, though. In other news, the Texas A&M football legend Mike Evans wrote and published a children's book.
Hmm.
Were you done? Were you done with your updates?
Yeah. You're good.
Oh, good. And I was like,
I'm just waiting to
did that
hear
go?
more. I'm interested. I'm waiting to hear more. You're good.
So even though I live in Texas, I didn't know anything about this guy. But he is a Super Bowl champion and a 4-time Pro Bowler. Don't ask me what team he played for, because I have no idea. But his book
Well, was it
details
Texas
the obstacles.
A&M? Oh no, that's the college.
That was the college team.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't follow through with my research and just
That's okay.
Google the actual team. It must not have been a Texas team, because they would have said that.
I'll look it up. You keep
Anyways,
talking.
I skipped over that detail. He in the book, it's for children, so it's like a
Holy shit,
diary
dude.
of the wimpy kid. What?
Sorry. It says Michael Lynn Evans the third. Is that the same person? Mike Evans. Maybe it's
I
not the
don't
same
know.
person. I feel like this is a common name. Might be butchering this. Mike Evans.
What happened?
He says he plays for Tampa Bay. Is this guy old? No, do we know anything about this guy?
I mean, he's got to be old enough that he's been in 4 Pro Bowls.
Well, this guy was born August 21st, 1993, and is from Galveston, Texas.
Yeah, that's him. And I
That's
get to
him?
let you in on a little secret, but 1993 is not that old.
I mean, he's 29 years old, and I just think all of that is very impressive for a 29-year-old, because I'm going to be 29 this year in August, and I just saw that. I was like, well, I have accomplished nothing compared to this man. So,
I
yeah,
thought you
it's
said
cool. Texas
you asked
A&M.
if this guy was. I thought you asked if he was old.
Yeah, I was like, I thought for a second I was thinking you said he was retired. I made that up,
Just
though.
from college football.
So he plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's 29 years old. Can you tell the only sport I know is hockey, and I don't even know that anymore? So, anyways, Kristin, continue.
Thanks, Bobbi, for the spoiler. He grew up in Galveston. Just kidding. It's not a spoiler. It's all over the internet. But yeah, so it's like the diary of the wimpy kid, like styled, like for like young children. Well, I guess like a children's first chapter book, a child's first chapter book.
Yeah, I don't understand kids either, so that
I've
makes
really
sense.
butchered this, and I don't know what age group it's for. I just saw a picture of it. But I guess so. It details the obstacles he faced in his childhood, how he persevered, and what he learned. And I was super intrigued by that outline of the book that I had to go look into his childhood. Spoiler alert, I don't know if I would let my child read this book. His mother got pregnant with him when she was 14.
Whoa.
His father stayed, but was physically abusive. And so one night, his father punched a beer can into his mother's mouth. And so his uncle murdered his father and is currently in jail for said murder.
Holy shit.
So I don't know how much of that made it into the book about his childhood struggles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is his mom, like, dead? Is she okay? I'm sure she got fucked up.
I think she's still alive.
Holy shit, I sure hope so. God. That just took a turn I was not prepared for. I was like, oh, we're talking about children's books. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah, it's a
hope
really
it takes those very adult concepts and like dumbs them down into something petty children do and turns it around for young children because like but I think there's a lot more violence in families than people are aware of. Actually, I know that to be true.
and to kind of like normalize like the idea of not feeling alone in
What you're
that
going through.
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was which that kind of rolls nicely into our movie topic. Because there's a lot of death in The Punisher.
Oh my God, yeah. My first comment,
Guys,
like watching this, I was like, well, that's graphic. It's so graphic.
do you know how many kills the Punisher amasses throughout the comic books?
It's got to be in the thousands. Oh God, is it more?
48,500.
In the comic books, 48,000? Wow.
Yeah.
That is a fun fact. Holy shit. 48,000.
Yeah.
What is it? 48,000?
48,500 thus
That
far.
that's a huge Well,
Yeah. Yeah. So the Punisher originally was first in a Spider-Man comic book in 1974. He was depicted as like just an assassin. If I remember correctly, I think he saves Spider-Man. And then in 1986 he gets his own comic book with his own like actual backstory of being an ex-Marine, which if you've ever met a Marine, there's no such thing as an ex-Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
one of my best friends is a Marine.
So you know.
I know. Yeah, I know.
But that's how that terminology is how he's referred to continuously.
Yeah.
But
I remember reading some of my dad's old Punisher comics. My dad had a lot of comics.
Your dad was into the Punisher or comics in general?
Comics in general, yeah. Yep. There was like some I wasn't allowed to like open. Like don't take that out of that sleeve. Don't touch it kind of thing.
Oh, because for like price in the future. I thought because
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't a
Collecting.
comic.
Ew. Thanks, Kristin. That was a fucking terrible mental image. Not what my dad panicking. Don't open that one. Don't open that one. Jesus fuck.
It could get worse, but we'll just leave that where it lies.
Yeah,
we'll just stick that back in the plastic sleeve.
Did I send you the picture of the book I was reading? No, I got distracted. I'll send it to you after this. Continue on with the Punisher. This is my brain. Earlier, Kristin called me and I said something and she goes, Bobbi, focus. And then I like was silent for like 2 minutes trying to get my brain to work. And I was like, damn. I just whispered, damn.
That's because Bobbi calls me and goes, oh, guess what? Oh my God, look at that flower.
I'll be talking, I'll be like, there are so many cats in my neighbor's yard. And Kristin would be like,
the epitome of like squirrel.
Yeah. That's also why I like this book about a witch's guide to fake dating, because the main character, I'm like, I am the main character. Okay.
I gotta give it to you though. You always start off with a cliffhanger. Every phone call. Every phone call.
Gotta keep them guessing, you know? All right, back to the Punisher.
And then we go straight into an intermission.
Yep, that's me.
So the Punisher, so originally 1986, he was a Vietnam War vet. Which is kind of interesting, the fact that the backstory from being a Vietnam War vet And the reason that he was in trouble with the government then was because he found out they were using soldiers' bodies to smuggle drugs back into the US by like taking out their organs and stuffing drugs in there, bringing it back. That storyline is the exact same one as the one they're using in that 2017
Except he's for the Iraqi
show.
war instead of the Vietnam War, right? Yeah.
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 But the ideas and the corruption haven't changed at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? Like those have transcended generations and they're still plausible and believable. But my favorite fact, and this is the fact that won the Punisher over for me. His backstory prior to becoming a Marine, he was originally born Francis Castiglione. And he was studying to become a priest. However, he found that he was unable to forgive bad people for the things that they had done. So he changed his name to Frank Castle and became a Marine instead. And in the Punisher series, they like tipped their hat a little bit to that idea. And his alias, his fake government name, is Peter Castiglione.
Yeah,
that's a little nod to the original story.
When I was like reading over the show notes earlier, and I was like, I didn't catch that in my research. That's so interesting and really, really cool of the writers to do. Like, I love those little Easter eggs like that. I'm huge for those.
Yeah. Easter egg, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I always forget that term.
Yep.
The other really fun side story is that in 1955, they did like a quick one-shot comic. And so instead of his family either being killed in like a car bomb or being like caught in gunfire, they had like the superheroes, the Marvel superheroes got into a fight in the city. And obviously when superheroes get into a fight, they cause mass destruction. And they killed his family in like one of their superhero brawls. So Frank goes on a rampage, as Frank does, and kills every single Marvel character. Every single one of them.
I want to read that one.
He killed the Marvel Universe in his rampage.
That's awesome. I want to read that one. I love Marvel. I like all those people. I don't want them to be dead, but I want to fucking read that one.
Yeah, I mean, they're only dead for one comic. So, yeah. So I guess a lot of those, the way he was able to do it is one, because every superhero has like a kryptonite, right? A weakness. But guerrilla warfare, right? Yeah. He'd lure them in and then jump on their heads.
Nice.
That's not what guerrilla warfare is, but sneaky shit.
Sneaky shit. I like it.
So then in the movies, they did a 1989 Punisher. But his backstory there was that he was a police officer and his family was killed in a car bomb. I never saw that one.
Yeah, I don't like that idea as much.
Yeah, I never saw that one. Didn't like it. 2004, I did see that one. That one was with Thomas Jane. And this guy was an ex-FBI agent. I don't know. You probably don't know who Thomas Jane is.
I'm Googling it.
Are you searching it?
I'm Googling it. I knew you were going to say something, so I was like, I better Google this shit.
Thomas Jane is just a little too soft. He just doesn't look like a badass. Or like the lethal killer that is the Punisher. But Thomas Jane was super lucky. His bad guy was John Travolta. So
interesting.
Lols. That's what I wrote in the notes.
Lols. Yeah.
And another little fun fact spin-off. A spin-off on a fun fact.
It doesn't.
So Thomas Jane was the Punisher.
Sorry, he doesn't look. And they're using the same skull, by the way, in 2004. Like, I was so confused about that. He reminds me of in this movie, in these movie photos from The Punisher 2004, he reminds me of, what the fuck is the guy's name from Grease?
The one played by John Travolta?
Yes, that's why it's so funny to me, because he looks like he's that. What I can't remember his freaking name, but yeah, he looks like, I kid you not, he looks like a buffer, bigger John Travolta in this movie. And
Yeah,
so that's
he,
really
and he's only, like,
holes.
and he's short, and it was tough to believe he was a bad guy. I think in the 2004 movie they leaned more in on the guns than like the actual hand-to-hand combat in that one.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that from the imagery for sure.
But a quick fun fact, Thomas Jane later in his movie career went on to play in a TV show called Hung, 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 where he was a male prostitute-ish, kind of. It's not very good, but it happened. John Bernthal went on later in his career to become the American Gigolo. A male prostitute.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so John Bernthal plays in the American Gigolo, which was originally Richard Gere. But then Richard Gere went to jail, and now it's picking up with him getting out of jail. But yeah, I just thought that was a funny parallel.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I'm sorry, I'm looking up pictures from that movie too. Like gone down this whole like rabbit
So that's
hole.
what it's like living in my brain.
Oh, he's so handsome.
John Bernthal?
Yes.
Isn't he gorgeous?
He's just so handsome. It's pretty stupid. Actually.
Did you ever watch The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yeah.
John Bernthal made like a quick one-episode appearance.
Oh, really?
He played the gay love interest of Titus.
No fucking way. That's hilarious. I love that. Freaking Titus. I haven't thought about that show in a while. I didn't watch the whole thing. I never commit to anything. I suck. Anyways.
I never watched that show. I watched a little bit of it. It didn't strike my fancy. But then when I found out John Bernthal was going to be on it, obviously I watched that episode multiple times.
It's hilarious.
And then in 2008 they made another Punisher, but I know absolutely nothing about that one. I never watched it. The only thing I know is they leaned heavily on gunplay in that one as well.
Gotcha.
So the one with John Bernthal is the very first one that gets really physical, as opposed to
like hand-to-hand physical, up close and personal
hand-to-hand
for
physical.
real.
Yeah. And it's just a general consensus that throughout the years, there's just been no other individual that has ever played the Punisher on screen has ever had the on-screen presence and had that embodiment and like made you believe that they were actually the Punisher both on and off screen. Like,
yeah, for sure. He does a wonderful job with this character. It's insane. And those clips you sent me of him from Daredevil, because I haven't seen that.
Don't bother.
Insane. Don't bother.
It sucks. It sucks so bad.
There is just crazy. And then I was like, this guy is wild and brutal, and he has to have HIV with all the blood that ends up on it. Like he has some type of disease from all this blood getting on him. He's always just covered in it. And I am just like, this is not for the faint of heart at all.
Yeah. Yeah, like when he pulls that stick straight out of his forearm and other
Oh,
people's blood is just gushing into his open wound.
yeah. I'm like, what is happening? And then I was like, where did all these prisoners get all these shanks at? And the freaking axe? I'm like, where did they get these weapons? I'm like, what is happening? We're talking about the prison fight in Daredevil. I don't know. I don't even
Yeah.
know. I'm just like, what is happening right now? I was like, this is so violent.
I, I stand by. I will die on this hill. This is that random hill that I'm willing to die on. All of the Punisher's best fight scenes are in Daredevil, which is such a bummer.
I want to mention one other one that is not in Daredevil because I haven't seen Daredevil that I really enjoyed and thought was hilarious. But we'll get to that in a second. So the Punisher was reintroduced into Daredevil on Netflix originally when Netflix had its licensing with Marvel. And then as we know, Disney Plus purchased Marvel and they transitioned all of those shows over to Disney Plus. But before they did that, Punisher got his spin-off series from 2017 to 2019 and it was 2 seasons. I know the first season is 13 episodes long because I got through I left off on episode 9, I think it was. So I didn't get to watch the whole season because they're an hour fucking long. It's so much time. That's 9 hours of my life devoted to the Punisher, which I did it for John.
There's no commercial breaks. There's
no commercial breaks.
When TV shows used to be an hour with commercial breaks, they were 40 minutes.
Yeah, this is 57 minutes of all John, which is why I committed to 9 hours of it, let's be honest. And so when the rights returned to Disney, back in 2019, there's been no word on season 3, but there's been whispers that it might happen after a new Daredevil Born Again series premieres in 2014. Dear Lord, that was not the right day. That's so long ago. 2024. Fuck, I'm aging myself. Every moment I open my mouth.
Yeah.
So
I've been dying to know, Bobbi. Bobbi would not tell me. She would not tell me what she thought of it.
Yeah.
Until this moment, which is...
I'm still not telling you. You'll have to wait till the end. So, I have some comments. I took some notes while I was watching, and there's a couple other notes that I put. My favorite character is Sam Stein, the lady FBI's partner. His comedic genius in his role is so subtle and so hilarious to me. My least favorite character, this is a spoiler, but it's also not, because you get creepy vibes from the beginning anyways, is Billy Russo. And I made
Which
it to...
sucks, because he's so pretty.
Yeah, that's a theme. I like his car.
I don't even remember what it was.
It's a ghost. It's what the fuck is it called? It's a Bentley. Oh, it's a Rolls-Royce Ghost. The doors open back, or is it the Phantom? Is it the Ghost or the Phantom? Anyways, it's a Rolls-Royce. It's a very fucking expensive car, if you needed to know. It's something I will never own. Actually, I don't want to own one. I just think they're pretty. But yeah, I made it to episode 9, and there's 13 episodes in the first season, and the last episode I left off on, Sam fucking dies.
Oh, yeah.
He dies. Because again,
yeah,
fucking motherfucking little bitch boy that you learn about. So angry.
Billy the Beaut.
Fucking mad. So angry. So angry. But my notes. So I was watching the... I just wanted to give some context because I don't know. I'm really pissed that Sam died. But anyways, episode 2. So the Dave Letterman, the Dave guy in the show that he ends up basically like living with. I can't remember his hacker name.
Micro.
Yeah. And I thought it was hilarious how clever he was when he was talking to him on the phone, and then he set up that little mirror thing on the shop, like on the roof of the thing, like across from the diner. And then when John gets over there, or when Frank gets over there and he looks back, he's standing on top of the diner on the phone, and it was just a whole thing to get him to go away from him. And I was like, that is so fucking genius. I was like, how clever. I also thought it was really funny because I can't remember what fight scene it was. It was in episode 2. But they were talking about when he gets those tickets to go to the concert, they do like a flashback to his wife buying him tickets.
Yeah.
And then there's a fight
and he's
scene.
Like, I love my wife.
Yeah, and then there's a fight scene, and it's playing one of that guy's songs, and it's like, because it's like flashing to the past and flashing forward, and then the song that's playing is, what is it? I can't remember. Spielberg? Is the concert he was going to go to, and then it's one of his songs playing over this fight scene. Oh, no. True Springsteen, that's what it was.
Springsteen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's another fight scene to a Frank Sinatra song. That was the Frank Sinatra one. Sorry, my notes are a shit show. The Frank Sinatra one was in episode 2, and in episode 3, it talks about the Wishing Your Reality True by Springsteen thing. I was just like, oh my God. I took a film is lit class in high school, so we would talk about how the music has to do with what's going on in the movie, and like different types of choices and stuff like that. And so like a lot of that stuff really like sticks out to me when I watch stuff. I'm like, oh, and I love music, so like it was really clever to me. Episode 3, when he finally catches Micro, and there's that whole retinal scan thing, and they fucking jacks him up with heroin. I was like, this Micro guy's a motherfucker, and I love it. Like, he keeps besting Frank, and I'm like, in the most clever ways, and I'm like, oh, this bitch is what's up, you know?
I mean, you have to be smart. You're never gonna out-muscle him.
Is it Spook? Or is it Micro? Spook. Spook rolls over the coffee chair. Spook.
So Frank calls him Spook, but his call name is Micro.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So, and then I love it when
so they call him a lot of different stuff.
One of my favorite things is when because you know he had him taped to that fucking chair butt ass naked for who knows how many fucking days. It doesn't really tell you. But then he jacks him up with heroin. He gets out of the chair, and then he rolls over the same chair to him when he wakes up from his heroin fucking high, and puts him in the fucking chair. And I'm like, oh, how the turntables. Episode 4. My favorite line was, "Do you believe in God?" And this is when he goes to try and get guns, and he ends up with that pink fucking rifle or whatever. Oh, yeah. And he's talking to the guy.
Just
he's got
one
single rifle, yeah. And he's pissed about it, but he still takes it. I thought that was hilarious. But he's talking to the guy, and he's standing behind him in his deep voice, and he goes, "Do you believe in God?" And the guy that's like fucking has a gun to his head is like, "Right now I want to." And I was like, feel that in my soul, brother.
Yes. That's like the cab driver, that black guy that he goes to get him from. I forgot his name. Is that who it is?
The cab guy? What did you say?
What the guy that he went to get the guns from? Is that black guy? Is that when they're sitting in the cab?
No, they're in the shipping container.
Oh, they're in the shipping container.
Yeah, in the shipping container. And then episode 5, where they're like driving out of town in the van, like after they get that van or whatever. And Micro or Dave is driving and he's eating out, and Frank gets him the tuna and hands it to him and he starts eating out of the tuna bag. And no. Frank is driving and the other guy gives him the thing of tuna. And then Frank is like, thanks. And he starts eating the tuna out of the bag, which is disgusting in my opinion. I know people do it and I'm a gym freak and I can't do it. My best friend can. And I'm like, Sky, you psycho. Anyways, and then fucking Dave, Micro, whatever, Spook, he pulls out this beautiful fucking sandwich and starts eating it. And Frank looks over at him like, motherfucker, what is this? He's like, where'd you get that? And he goes, I made it. He goes, you made it. And he goes, yeah, I made it. It's like, hell yeah, this guy's hilarious. Their whole relationship makes me giggle. Like when when Dave or Spook's wife kisses Frank in like episode 8 or whatever it was that I watched last night. And then he gets fucking wasted and Frank comes back and he's like, you saw that? Because it's just like on his monitor frozen. And he goes, I saw it. And then he's like fucking drunk as shit drinking whiskey. And Frank goes, this is how we're handling it. And he goes, this is how we're handling it. And then later they're talking and he's like, you don't. Spook goes, he goes, you know I'm hung like a moose, right? He goes into this whole thing. He's like, and then he shouts down his pants, and Frank's like, dear God, da, da. And this time they're friends, so they're kind of like laughing it off. And Frank was a Marine, so I'm sure this is not the first time that this has happened to him. And I'm just like laughing my ass off. He's like, and Frank is like, what is the point of this? He's like, go ahead and try and take my wife. I'm hung like a moose. I was like, this can't be real. And then he punches him and knocks him out. It was so funny.
Can I tell you a quick side story?
Yeah.
Apparently, John Bernthal is legendary throughout Hollywood for how well endowed he is.
I could see that.
There's a story with Pete. Who's that? Is it Pete Went? Pete, the guy that dated the Kardashian.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson? The comedian?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking. He was trying to fit. He was on John Bernthal's podcast, and he was talking about how he's trying to put the harness on, the ones that like whip you back and throw you through the air. And he's like, "Dude, I can't get in here because of whatever's going on downstairs." And the guy was like, "Whoa! If I can get John Bernthal's ox cock or whatever into one of these things, I can get you in."
I gotta look that up. I gotta watch that episode of his podcast. Shit. So that's hilarious to know that he's oxen. I don't know. That's hilarious.
Probably horse. They probably said horse. I couldn't think of the animal that they used.
Yeah.
They probably said horse.
It's so interesting.
I'll send it to you.
He's married
Instagram.
and has 3 kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's obsessed with his kids, man. He posts about his kids a lot.
Oh, you follow him on social media?
Sport.
But yeah, he looks like he's just a really good human. And my brother-in-law, Riley, was telling me how like he had a pretty rough, like he was a rough and tough guy growing up, and he kind of turned a new leaf. And my, like you said, Riley, my brother-in-law, he was like theorizing that's why he made such a good Punisher, is because he had like legitimate experience, like kind of being this, and so and like also now he's just a really fucking good guy, so he plays the character so well. But yeah, he's got
such great stories too.
Really?
I love watching his interviews. There's when he was in college, he tried to take film lit, that class where you just like watch movies, and so he was just gonna like sit in the back.
That's what I did in high school.
He was just gonna do drugs and sit in the back of the class to get like free credit.
That's exactly what I did in high school.
He accidentally signed up for acting class, so it was a group of like 5 people.
Oh, and he also went to Russia to study acting, and I thought that was fascinating when I was reading about him.
Yeah.
Because one of our other favorite people went to Russia too, Bert Kreischer.
The machine.
The machine. And so I was just like, all the good guys go to Russia. Because Bert is a great
I
guy.
think that's a stereotype.
I just made it one. Because Bert is a lovely husband. He dotes on his wife. He loves his girls. Like, I'm like, all the good ones go to Russia first.
No, I think it's the ones that make it out of Russia
Oh, that's
that
fair.
seem to have a new zest for life.
That makes sense. That makes more sense in my theory, at least. But my favorite fight scene was when he goes in to the gangsters poker game.
Is this at the beginning or towards?
It's at the beginning.
Later
It
on?
might even be like episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, like when he's working that construction job to save that kid.
Yes. Yes. So this
Yeah.
is like episode 1. And
Yeah.
he goes in and he fucking just fucks them all up. And then he ends up standing, then the like lights come on or whatever, and he's standing behind that guy with his hoodie up. And I was like, fuck yeah. And then it's so graphic though, because then he grapples with him and makes him shoot himself in the eye. And I'm like, fuck, they show all of it. And that's when I knew my whole comic of, well, that's graphic was right then, and it has not changed the whole series.
Yeah, that very first fight scene though, when he's beating those guys at the construction site, I think that's before the poker game.
Yes, it
remember.
is. And he puts him in the cement. Oh, crazy. I was like, how convenient.
But it's just so I mean, that's the kind of retribution we all want on like those types of jackasses though,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like because he didn't talk, they thought he was special, like in the head. And so they like picked on a guy that was minding his own fucking business.
Yeah.
Like he's eating his lunch and they're like, let's pick on this guy. Like,
yeah.
it's just, everybody loves a good story.
Yeah.
And I just love that fucking song by Tom Watts?
Girl, I don't
In
know.
that scene. That was my favorite song. That was the song after that episode, I then listened to that song on repeat for months.
Oh, wow. You're like that, though.
One song.
You are
I
like
can't
that. You're
help it, man.
so weird with music. There's one song on repeat. Like when I opened your
Continue.
Spotify, I was like, is there music on here? Because it's just like like
is
singular songs listed. And I'm like, I'm so confused.
I was like, this is not how people use this app.
Well, you did have a lot of podcasts on there in your defense, so I guess that's fine.
Yes, I don't listen. You okay?
Yeah, I had a cough. I muted everybody else, just not you. Sorry.
It sounded like you threw up. I wasn't looking.
No, I just had a cough because I was laugh crying, and I think I don't know, it fucked my whole sinuses up because like my nose was like running and my eyes are watering, and I don't know. I'm having issues. Give me a break. It's 9 o'clock at night. It's like my fucking bedtime. My goddamn grandma, okay?
I know that one was rough though.
Sorry.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
No, are you
Thank
okay?
you for genuinely being concerned. I am fine. Did not vomit.
I really thought it was going to be like that kid sitting at the table that just like throws up.
Yeah. I love that meme.
Yeah, so anyways, that was my favorite song for a long time. And now that we talked about it, I'm probably going to go listen to it.
That makes sense.
On repeat for the next week.
So, I actually like the show.
I gathered.
I wish it wasn't an hour long, though, because that is a lot of time.
To pay attention to one thing.
Yeah, for me, it's incredibly difficult. But I will say that, like, I have no idea where this is going. Like, there's so many things happening, and I am like, what is going on? What's going to happen? And I can't guess. And I think that's why I'm so intrigued by it. The shows that I like tend to keep me guessing. If I can figure them out, I'm like, I figured it out. I'm done with you. But, like, I don't know how this goes into a season 2. Like I'm like, how is this season gonna end? Because like I can't right now I'm at a place where I can't connect the dots because fucking Billy killed Sam. So how is Homeland Security woman gonna figure out? And then what pissed me off the most was Billy was bathing her at the end of that episode. Like, you
Right?
just killed her
Straight up
partner,
psycho.
and the only
You know
person
what's
that
so-
she trusted in this whole fucking show, the only person she could trust, and you fucking kill, and now you're washing his blood off of her. You fucking demonic creature.
You know, if
Great
this was a
writing,
dark
excellent
romance-
writing.
If this was a dark romance written from Billy's point of view, you'd be madly in love with him.
As long as it was dual perspective, yes.
As long as it was dual perspective. Just to loop this back in, I don't want anybody to think that we're like sane or all right in the head. So I just had to let them. Quick reminder.
No, we're women in our 30s. We're not sane.
You're not in your 30s.
No, I'm
Get
not.
out of here with your bad self.
I'm gonna be 29. I'm close to fuck enough. I feel like I'm 30. I had muscle spasms over the weekend, okay? I'm old as shit.
Oh, yeah. Those are a son of a bitch, man.
That was the second time I've ever had them, and I was like, I might actually freak the fuck out. Like, I've never been so silent in my life trying to maintain control and composure. I'm not a quiet person.
I've only had them once. Yeah. I've only had them once in my entire life, but I got them in my back. And man, I'll tell you what, that dropped me like a rock.
It was in my
There's
neck.
no catching yourself. I just whoop.
There she goes. Yeah, they were in my neck, and I was just like twitching all day, like, fuck. Yeah. Not in the good way. No oxcock involved. Sorry, that was bad. I should go to bed.
These get a little more off the rails when we do them at night. We should do this more often.
Perhaps. Anyways, I am really here for the characters. I really like the casting in general. And also, Jake did not watch the first episode. I don't know if he came in at the second or third episode, but he's intrigued too. So that's fun because it's something we enjoy to watch together. And we're both like, this is fucking crazy, you know? And so it's really good and I'm enjoying it. Will I continue to watch it after this episode? Like us here? I don't know. I'm not gonna like run and watch it tomorrow. I don't think I'll do that. I might like finish out season 1 because there's only 4 episodes, but I'm like, there are books to be read. And yeah, so I don't know if I'll continue to watch or how deep I'll get into it, but if I do end up finishing it, I'll let you know. I'll update the fam. All the roomies here.
Update the roommates.
Yep. So
cool beans.
Next week, what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna try a little bit new of a topic. So we're gonna do a longer format book review or reviews of multiple books. So we're gonna get into more detail, and what we'll do is we will post what books they're gonna be beforehand. So if you've read them, you won't, because there's going to be spoilers for sure. Like, we try to not do too many spoilers, but we also suck at not doing spoilers. So, yeah.
I don't even know if I'm trying anymore.
I don't think she is.
Not do spoilers.
You aren't. So, but, yeah, so that's going to be new for us. So bear with us. I'm excited about it. Do I know what book I want to choose? No, because I get so excited about so many books that I just don't know what to do. I get analysis paralysis for sure. So, with that being said, thank you so much for joining us this week for this episode of Get in Our Room. I really enjoyed watching The Punisher, which I'm surprised about to some extent. But yeah, thank you, and we look forward to chatting with you next week.